Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be doing a shave comparing two razors, the R41, the 2011 R41, and the Above the Tie H1. The questions come up, and I've been asked many times, what I think about the H1, how aggressive is it, so I thought today I would just compare it to the 2011 R41 and see how they feel side by side. I've used both these razors quite a bit, and I have kind of my own opinion. I think that this is probably the most aggressive razor I've ever used, but I've never shaved with them side by side, so I'm kind of anxious to do that, and I thought I would go ahead and make a video of that and see how they stack up. I've loaded both these razors with a brand new feather blade, and I'll shave one side of my face with the R41 and one side of my face with the against the tie, or I'm sorry, above the tie with the H1 plate. This is the Above the Tie Titan. It's a very nice razor, solidly built, and so we'll go ahead and give it a try. Today I'm going to be using a relatively new brush for me. I'm going to be using the Pilson. This is the brush from L'Occitane, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. And I also thought I would go ahead and make a super lather on my face, by face lathering, and just to kind of show how I do it, and thought that would be appropriate since I'm using these fairly aggressive razors to go ahead and do a super lather, get a nice rich steamy lather, hopefully, and we'll go to work here. So what I'm going to do is just wet my face, and I'm just going to go ahead and I will usually just take, when I'm doing a super lather, I will just take the cream and kind of smear it on my face, get a nice coating of the cream. And then I'll go ahead and load my brush with the soap and then just go to town. So this will be the first time I've used this Pilson synthetic brush. I know a lot of people love this brush, so I'm kind of anxious to give it a try. And for the soap, I'm using the Queen Charlotte Celestial Wood. This is a very obviously woody smelling fragrance. To me, it smells a lot like red cedar. And that seems to be the predominant fragrance in this, so it should pair nicely with the Cade cream as well. So there we go. So the brush seems to be whipping up a fairly nice lather with this soap. And certainly both this soap and this cream by themselves perform just great. They don't need to be super lathered together, but I just thought I would do this kind of for fun. So here we go. So my first impression with this brush is that it does not feel as dense as my 26mm Mula silver tip fiber brush, but it certainly is seems to have adequate backbone, and it's nice and soft. I had have a travel brush from L'Occitane that I got a couple years ago, and that thing is bordering on unusable. It is really scratchy, and really in my opinion, can only be used for bowl lathering and then just painting the lather on your face. But this brush is nice and soft. It seems like it is whipping up a pretty nice lather here. So go ahead and just keep adding a little more water to this, kind of loosen it up just a tad bit. go ahead and get shaving here. So that looks pretty good. We got a nice lather in the brush there. We'll just set that brush aside. Okay, so I'm going to get started here. R41 with a feather on the right side of my face. So as I'm sure all of you know that have used or have used the feather or the R41, you definitely can feel the blade. Now with the H1, when you look at it, it does not look, it looks like pretty much any other solid bar razor. But it is deceivingly aggressive. You don't feel the blade as much as you do with the R41. But my experience with it is if you apply too much pressure as you do your second and third passes, there's a fairly high risk of developing some irritation. And in fact, the first time I used it, it felt like it was fairly smooth, and then during the second pass I kind of felt this slight tingling on my face, and I'm like, I can't possibly be the razor. But then after my third pass, my face was very, very irritated, especially my neck, and I had maybe 3 or 4 weepers on my neck as well. So I found with that razor, you really have to be very careful about not applying any pressure whatsoever. So with the R41, that's kind of the case because you feel the blade so much you don't want to push down on it. So intuitively, because it feels more aggressive, or you feel the blade more contacting your face, the tendency is to use a lighter touch. So I've never really had too much problem with irritation with the R41. However, I have had it, but not as it's not as much of a problem as it has been with the above the tie H1. So second pass, looks like feel pretty smooth. So we'll just go third. Last pass will be against the grain, and then we'll call it good, and then we'll kind of see how smooth we've gotten. I'm not going to do any touch-ups at all. Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this little brush. It seems to perform quite well. Whipped up a nice lather. And seems to hold a fair amount of lather too, which is kind of nice. Plenty of lather there for 3. I'm sure I could do 4 passes if I so chose. Okay, here we go against the grain. So I have to admit, I do feel a little tugginess with the R41 coming across the grain here. So let's see how the Titan feels, or the H1 Titan. Okay, well, that's good. And I'll wipe off the soap here, and then we'll kind of take a feel. We'll see who got closer. So right here, I do have a little bit of stubble left on the R41 side. And as you can see, I've got a little weeper here, slight weeper there, and I had a slight one there from each of the razors. I would say that this side does feel smoother. I don't have that residual hair here, and with kind of the same amount of effort, the H1 feels like it has gotten me a smoother shave. And of course, they both did give me a little bit of a weeper right here under my chin. Don't really feel too much irritation just right now. Maybe a slight bit here on both sides on my neck from going against the grain there. So I'm going to go ahead and apply the. This is a fine snakebite aftershave. This is essentially unscented aftershave with quite a bit of menthol in it, and it really feels good. It's for menthol lovers, this is really a nice aftershave. So, and it has a lot of alcohol in it, so I'm sure this is going to burn pretty good. So we'll go ahead and apply it. Oh yeah. So on my cheeks, really not much burning. On the neck, which is usually the area that's more prone to irritation for me, kind of burns about the same on each side. There was just kind of an initial burn, and then that goes away really quick. Okay, so there you have it. R41 compared to the H1 Titan. I think I got a little bit closer with the H1 Titan than the R41. The R41 actually did feel a little bit tuggy going against the grain here, whereas the H1 did not. I still believe that this is for me a more aggressive razor than the R41, but it's deceivingly aggressive. It doesn't look aggressive, and when you first start using it, your first pass with the grain, it doesn't feel aggressive. But then when you start going across and against the grain, if you apply too much pressure with this H1 head, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be really prone to irritation. Again, with a light touch, you get a great shave with this razor. Same deal with the R41. R41 just, it's aggressive. You definitely feel the blade more in this one. You feel like this feels more aggressive when you put it to your face, but I think I'm less prone to get maybe irritation with this one. And I think it's just because you feel the blade so much, you're not as apt to put pressure on it. So anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or comments, comment below. I'll respond. Whoops, we lost our holder there. I will respond to them as soon as possible. So anyways, guys, have a great weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye.